The African savanna leaves no place for the weak. Blood stains the golden grasslands red. Every chase could be the final one. No rules, only fangs and claws speak. Among these predators, who truly is the king of kings? As dawn lifts the mist from the endless grassland, the first light to touch the earth doesn't just wake the living, it wakes the eyes already lurking in the golden grass. The African savanna carries a strange paradox within it. This land is both a lush Garden of Eden with green pastures stretching to the horizon, and an arena of life and death where every step could be the last. Here, lions hide beneath the tall grass. Crocodiles lie motionless like dead logs beneath the river's surface, and hyenas drift along, timing their breath to the moment of opportunity. It is precisely this contrast between serene beauty and merciless predatory instinct that gives this land its haunting pull. Amid this scenery, at once dreamlike and savage, an event unfolds each year that leaves the entire world holding its breath. Millions of creatures stir in unison, answering an invisible call carried on distant reins. Roughly 1.5 million wildebeest surge forward in a thundering mass, trailed by nearly 300,000 zebras with their vivid stripes and 400,000 swift Thompson's gazelles, all converging on the fertile plains of the Masai Mara. This is no ordinary migration. It is the largest biological symphony on the planet, a cycle repeated across millions of years of evolution, forever walking hand in hand with death lurking in every moment. In the shade of golden grass, rising shoulder high, a pair of eyes rimmed in black, like tear streaks stained permanently onto fur, locks onto its target. This is the cheetah, the fastest hunter on Earth, and also the one that gambles its own life on every chase. Its lean body presses low against the ground, every muscle coiled as tight as a bowstring drawn to its limit, waiting for the instant its prey drops its guard. Then everything explodes. All four paws leave the ground at once, the spine arching like a spring, releasing pent-up energy, hurling the cheetah's speed to a peak of 153 km in barely 3 seconds. Its small heart pounds furiously, racing past 250 beats per minute, pumping blood into muscles straining against the very limits of biology. A study published in 2024 revealed something even more astonishing than raw top speed. The cheetah's ability to cut sharply mid-sprint, maintaining near-perfect grip on the ground, even while twisting through abrupt turns at full velocity. Ahead of it, a young Thompson's gazelle tries to save itself with a zigzag gambit, veering unpredictably to throw off its pursuer. But against a machine capable of cornering at such terrifying speed, those frantic swerves only drag the prey closer to the jaws of death. Within seconds, the cheetah brings the gazelle down, closing the hunt with one flawless, decisive strike. But that victory is bitterly short-lived. Too exhausted to fight back, the cheetah can only watch helplessly as a pack of hyenas, or sometimes a lion or a leopard, comes crashing in to steal the kill. Its cubs, waiting hungry in the den, remain unfed, and a hunt that seemed complete ends in empty hands once again. But on the Serengeti, victory is never the final word. By day, the Serengeti belongs to the manned strategists. During the Great Migration, lions have no need to waste energy on small, risky chases. They choose a smarter game, waiting patiently along the bends of the Mara River, where thousands of wildebeest and zebra carcasses drift ashore after every failed river crossing. This is the opportunistic feast strategy, tapping into the massive food supply that nature freely provides, rather than confronting prey head-on. But when the moment calls for action, lions still display the discipline of a coordinated fighting unit. Lionesses take the role of encircling forwards, boxing prey into a corner with no escape, while young lions watch from the sidelines, quietly memorizing every movement to build experience for the future. It is a hunting academy run entirely on instinct and imitation. But once the sun sinks, another power rises from the darkness, carrying with it an eerie laughter that echoes across the plains. Hyenas step onto the stage, and every preconception about them demands an immediate rewrite. For decades, hyenas were branded as cowardly scavengers. But the truth is far more startling. 60 to 75% of their diet comes from kills they actively hunt themselves. It's a stunning reversal of reputation, since the very creature once dismissed as beneath notice turns out to be one of Africa's most effective hunters. What's more, in terms of social intelligence, scientists now rank hyenas above even baboons, crediting them with the ability to track hierarchy, cooperate tactically, and even calculate force ratios before acting. Before daring to challenge lions over a carcass, a hyena clan will quietly count the opposing numbers, launching their counterattack only when they hold a decisive advantage of roughly 3 to 1, a cold calculation worthy of a military chessboard. The rivalry between these two powers is anything but a passing feud. It is an ancient grudge that has simmered for millions of years of evolution, where the line between predator and thief keeps shifting depending on the moment and the balance of strength. And once both sides have retreated from the battle over flesh and bone, the sky bears witness to the final arbiter. Marabou storks descend, tall and gaunt as gray ghosts, picking clean whatever bone and meat remain, quietly holding disease at bay across the plains. The battlefield settles back into stillness, but somewhere in the shadows, another pair of eyes is opening. Dawn breaks over the Guinea savanna woodlands, where patches of Miambo scrub weave through open grassland to form a perfect maze of light and shadow for something to hide in. A full-grown male leopard, its spotted coat looking as if painted by nature's own hand, presses itself low into the grass. Its target is a mother warthog absorbed in rooting for tubers. Not a sound, not a blade of grass stirs, until the distance closes enough for the leopard to launch itself forward at a peak speed of 96 km/h. The hunt ends in an instant, as clean as a routine rehearsed 1,000 times. That morning, everything seems to favor this solitary hunter. But the joy doesn't last. Having hauled its kill up into the fork of a tall tree, believing it's safe by every instinct passed down from its ancestors, the leopard freezes when it spots a golden mane climbing steadily up behind it, agile and unnervingly confident. Who says lions can only run on open ground? Overwhelmed in raw size, the leopard has no choice but to abandon an entire morning's work, slinking away with what must feel like the same bitterness a person feels losing a promotion to a rival. By evening, hunger drives it to try its luck again, this time targeting a baboon that has wandered from its troop. But the calculation proves fatally wrong. Baboon troops do not abandon their own. Dozens of individuals snarl, bare their fangs, and charge back in a furious counterattack, sending the leopard fleeing in rare, open panic. Night falls, and it returns to its den with an empty stomach and an exhausted body. A lone hero after a day of relentless setbacks. Individual strength, no matter how flawless, has its limits against those who know how to rely on each other. Perhaps, in this unforgiving grassland, solitude always exacts a price of its own. While the leopard chooses solitude, hiding in silence among the trees and trusting only its own eyes and claws, a few miles away, an entirely different story unfolds. In a patch of dry grass, a pack of African wild dogs gathers in a tight circle, their mottled black, tan, and white coats brushing against one another with striking familiarity. This is one of the most socially organized predators on the entire savanna, a species where the survival of the pack always outweighs the fate of any single member. The strangest part isn't their speed or strength, but a ritual that almost sounds comical. Before every hunt, the pack gathers and begins to sneeze. Scientists discovered this is in fact a surprisingly sophisticated form of voting. The more members that sneeze, the higher the odds the pack reaches consensus to set out. And sneezes from dominant individuals carry noticeably more weight in tipping the decision. It's a primitive democracy, yet remarkably effective, written into the wilderness through a language unlike anything else in the animal kingdom. Thanks to this seamless coordination, African wild dogs achieve one of the highest hunting success rates of any carnivore on Earth. And yet, Behind that extraordinary collective intelligence lies a grim reality. According to the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, fewer than 600 individuals remain across the entire African continent, making them one of the most endangered carnivores on the continent. Their story as united warriors is far from over, though, because their fate will return to haunt us in the closing chapter of this journey. While East Africa is famous for the wildebeest's legendary migration, few realize that the very same species is also quietly thriving thousands of kilometers away in the temperate savanna of South Africa, far from the blood-stained bends of the Mara. By 2023, the population there had swelled to roughly 100,000 to 200,000 individuals, living proof of just how generously this land still provides for one of the planet's most abundant grazing communities. Bearing the scientific name Conocades taurinus, the blue wildebeest wears a coat of smoky bluish-gray and carries a crown of powerfully curved horns, built as much for display as for defense. Its frame can reach up to 272 kilograms and stretch nearly 2.4 meters in length. But what truly sets this animal apart is the raw power coiled in its legs. When danger closes in, it can explode into a sprint of up to 80 km/h, fast enough to outrun both lions and hyenas, nature's two most relentless pursuers. Within the rhythm of the temperate savanna, the wildebeest plays a quiet but essential role, grazing steadily so the green tide of vegetation never overwhelms the land. Sharing this golden expanse is another giant, one carrying even greater size and history, the common eland. Known scientifically as Taurotragus oryx, it holds the title of the largest antelope on Earth, a creature whose sheer scale feels almost improbable amid the open plains. Its body can weigh up to 454 kilograms and stand nearly 1.8 meters tall, its warm, yellowish-brown coat crowned by spiraling horns that in males can twist up to 66 centimeters long. Those horns are far more than ornament. They double as weapons and status symbols, clashing fiercely in contests for dominance and mates whenever the breeding season stirs the herd. And though its bulk might suggest slowness, the eland can still summon a respectable burst of speed, up to 40 km/h, enough to slip free from the jaws of lions and hyenas. Most remarkable of all is its extraordinary tolerance for thirst. Roaming open plains where water can vanish for weeks at a time, the eland has learned to draw moisture directly from the very plants it eats, turning drought into something almost survivable. As the wildebeest continue grazing and the long-horned elands move like living monuments across the grass, our journey now drifts toward an entirely different world. One where the earth itself seems to breathe with water. The flooded savanna. What wonders might be waiting for us there? Across the sun-scorched grasslands of South Africa, the plains zebra moves like a living brushstroke against golden ground, known to science as Equus quagga, and recognized as the most widespread zebra species. Every stripe etched across its body is a signature written by nature itself, never repeated, making each individual a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. When the herd gathers into a tight, flowing mass, those stripes blur into a single shimmering surface, a natural optical illusion that leaves predators like lions struggling to lock onto a single target. By 2023, South Africa's population of plain zebras had reached an estimated 300,000 individuals. As grazers, they consume up to 14 kilograms of grass daily, and their ability to break down fibrous vegetation makes them silent gardeners of the savanna, keeping plant growth in check and holding back invasive species so other flora and fauna can thrive. The life of a plain zebra is an endless cycle of movement. Ordinarily traveling in family groups of 10 to 20, these small bands swell during migration season into sprawling herds, numbering in the thousands. These great crossings are more than a search for food and water. They also weave genetic diversity through the population, safeguarding the species for generations to come. Beyond shaping the landscape, the zebra forms an indispensable link in the savanna's food chain, standing as primary prey for lions, hyenas, and leopards. By sustaining these predators, it helps hold together the fragile balance of the entire ecosystem, where every creature plays its own irreplaceable part in Africa's living, breathing portrait. The Nile Delta flooded savanna, a jewel within Africa's flooded savanna ecoregion, stands as a wetland of unrivaled ecological weight. Here, the great river fractures into a network of branches before finally surrendering itself to the Mediterranean Sea. Sprawling across more than 266 square miles, this delta ranks among the largest and most biologically diverse flooded ecosystems found anywhere on the continent. With every return of the rainy season, the Nile's waters spill outward across the prairies and scrublands, transforming a parched terrain into a shimmering, verdant tapestry pulsing with life. Papyrus stalks, cattails, and dense stands of reeds, the signature flora of this aquatic world, take root with remarkable vigor, blanketing the wetland and offering shelter to countless creatures. Far more than a hiding place, these thick meadows of watergrass function as a living pantry, sustaining both land dwellers and aquatic species in equal measure. Presiding over this entire domain is the Nile crocodile, an undisputed sovereign of the food chain, bearing the scientific name Crocodilus niloticus. This reptile ranks as the second largest crocodilian species on Earth, stretching from 15.7 feet to as much as 18 feet in length and tipping the scales at up to 92 pounds. It commands the ecosystem of the Nile Delta flooded savanna through sheer physical presence alone, though its dominance owes just as much to hunting instincts that border on the surgical. As the dry season tightens its grip and the floodwaters retreat, the Nile crocodile withdraws into swamps and the lingering remnants of lakes. Its hide, thick and armor-like, shields its body against the merciless sun, while an internal thermoregulatory system allows it to endure temperature extremes that would fell lesser animals. Once the rains return and the Nile begins to swell once more, the crocodile widens its hunting range, lying in wait for antelope and buffalo drawn to the water's edge by thirst. A consummate ambush predator, it holds itself utterly still beneath the surface, exposing nothing but its eyes and nostrils, tracking every twitch and step of its prey with patient precision. The instant that prey lowers its guard, the crocodile erupts forward at speeds reaching 22 mph, closing the distance like a bolt loosed from the water itself. It hauls its victim toward the depths, twisting its body with tremendous force to disorient and ultimately drown its catch. Its bite, measured at an astonishing 34,409 pounds per square foot, ranks among the most powerful in the entire animal kingdom, more than sufficient to overwhelm large mammals, birds, and even rival crocodiles. Yet this crushing jaw was never built for conventional chewing. Instead, the Nile crocodile relies on the infamous death roll, spinning its body with violent momentum and harnessing the water's centrifugal force to wrench flesh from bone. This lethal maneuver equips it to process an extraordinary range of prey, from the smallest fish to the largest mammals sharing its territory. Data from the IUCN places the Nile crocodile population within the Nile Delta region at roughly 10,000 individuals as of 2023, a figure that has held steady thanks to consistently favorable hunting conditions. Far more than a feared apex predator, the Nile crocodile functions as a quiet custodian of the Nile Delta flooded savanna, culling the weak and the sick and thereby safeguarding the long-term health of the region's wildlife populations. Amid this unforgiving terrain, however, it is the striped hyena that emerges as the desert's most formidable rival for survival. Known to science as hyena, it stands among the principal carnivores prowling the Somali acacia, comifera bushlands and thickets. Marked by its telltale striped coat and powerfully built forelegs, this hyena moves with surprising ease across the region's broken, sun-scorched terrain and tangled scrub. Though smaller and more solitary than its social cousin, the spotted hyena, it loses nothing in terms of predatory effectiveness. A creature of the night, it slips from its den only once darkness fully claims the land, retreating again well before the first light of dawn. Amid the thorny expanse of Somalia's acacia comifera bushland, the common ostrich and its close relative, the Somali ostrich, stand as towering survivors of an unforgiving land. Rising up to 2.7 meters and weighing as much as 134 kilograms, the ostrich claims the title of the largest living bird, a modern echo of the dinosaurs that once ruled the earth. Its resilience against the searing heat of this scrubland borders on a biological marvel. Through a finely tuned internal thermostat, the ostrich keeps its body cool beneath a merciless sun, while its sparse, airy plumage works like a natural cooling garment, releasing heat swiftly into the surrounding air. A 2023 UNEP study revealed that the ostrich can endure long stretches without drinking, drawing moisture instead from grasses and succulent leaves. A subtle adaptation that lets it outlast even the harshest droughts. Its body further conserves precious water by limiting loss through breath and waste, a mechanism finely tuned for survival. When the sun climbs and temperatures soar, the ostrich retreats into stillness, resting in whatever shade it can find, and instead forages during the cooler hours of dawn and dusk. This rhythm of rest and movement forms a vital strategy for enduring the savanna's relentless extremes. Flightless yet far from vulnerable, the ostrich can sprint at up to 64 km/h and sustain a steady 55 km/h over long distances. Cornered, it becomes a formidable fighter, delivering kicks powerful enough to injure or even fell a lion or cheetah in a single strike, turning the hunted in an instant into the hunter. Within the flooded heart of the Sud lives a rare and striking antelope found nowhere else on Earth, the Nile lechwe, known scientifically as Cobus megaceros. Females wear a warm reddish-brown coat, while males darken into a deep, glossy black, crowned by long, elegantly curved horns reaching up to 89 centimeters. Their powerful legs carry them with ease through waterlogged terrain, a crucial edge for survival in this demanding wetland. As specialized grazers, the Nile lechwe feeds mainly on grasses and aquatic plants, a diet that both sustains the vegetation and helps preserve the delicate balance of the Sud swamp, opening space for smaller herbivores like the cob to feed alongside them. Amid a landscape thick with papyrus and reeds, this shallow water habitat gives the species ample room to flourish. Beyond sheltering large mammals, the Sud also serves as an essential way station for hundreds of migratory bird species, drawn here by the rhythms of the rainy season. As floodwaters rise, the land transforms into a vivid scene of color and motion. BirdLife International has documented more than 400 bird species across the region, including many rare finds. Among them is the black-crowned crane, Balearica pavonina, easily recognized by its black and white plumage and a golden crest atop its head, migrating hundreds of miles from arid deserts each year to breed where water and vegetation run abundant. The gray heron, Ardea cinerea, also calls these wetlands home. Its slender frame and wingspan of up to 2 meters unmistakable above the swamps, where fish and amphibians provide rich nourishment for its young. Equally remarkable is the African spoonbill, Platylia alba, gliding across rivers, swamps, and shallow lakes where food is plentiful. Its pristine white feathers and long, flattened bill form a natural sensing tool, sweeping through the water to detect prey by touch alone, turning murky shallows into an efficient hunting ground. With a wingspan of 1.1 meters, it moves gracefully across muddy waters, often nesting in colonies for mutual protection and breeding when the rains bring the wetland to its most fertile peak, tucked safely away in trees and dense riverside brush. According to BirdLife International, the flooded savanna of the Nile Delta draws more than 200,000 birds during each migratory season. And among this vast gathering, the greater flamingo, Phenacopterus roseus, stands out as the most striking presence. Every year, somewhere between 30,000 and 40,000 individuals journey here to breed and feed in abundance, heading for safe, flooded havens like the Nile Delta, where food is plentiful and the next generation can be raised in relative security. These crossings typically unfold in spring and autumn, when shifting temperatures and rising or falling waters shape the perfect conditions for breeding. As the largest member of the flamingo family, this bird carries a wingspan of roughly 1.7 meters and stands about 1.4 meters tall. Its long, wading legs let it move effortlessly through marshy shallows, while its distinctively curved bill sifts food from mud and water with remarkable precision, a survival tactic finely honed for this demanding habitat. The flamingo's signature rose-pink hue isn't innate, but earned. Built from carotenoid pigments, absorbed through the shrimp and microorganisms it consumes in shallow waters like those of the delta. Beyond sustenance, migration serves a deeper purpose too, weaving genetic diversity through the population, while colonies that sometimes swell to thousands strong offer mutual protection from predators and ideal conditions for incubation. Theirs is a life defined by ceaseless searching, constant adaptation, and the steady preservation of the species. Sharing this vibrant delta is another remarkable bird, the sacred ibis, known scientifically as Thresciornis ethiopicus, whose presence in the Nile Delta ecosystem carries both ecological and historical weight. For thousands of years, this bird has held deep symbolic meaning in Egyptian culture, revered as an emblem of wisdom and knowledge. Its likeness carved into countless temples and artworks that still line the Nile today. The delta remains one of the most vital waypoints along its migratory path, as the ibis moves through flooded wetlands, using its long, curved bill to draw small insects, fish, and amphibians out of the mud. BirdLife International estimates that around 60,000 sacred ibises arrive here annually to breed and feed, drawing on the delta's rich, flooded landscape to sustain their numbers and uphold their essential place in the region's ecological balance. In another corner of Africa, thousands of kilometers from the Sud, the Zambezi flooded grasslands unfold as a world where life moves to the endless rise and fall of water. Spanning Zambia, Zimbabwe, Angola, and Mozambique, this vast wetland functions as a green lung for southern Africa, drawing its vitality from the flow of the Zambezi River. When the rains arrive and the waters swell, the grassland awakens into a lush green expanse where papyrus and reeds push skyward above the flood. Farther more than a haven for water birds, this landscape becomes a paradise for grazers like antelope and zebra, drawn in by carpets of fresh, tender grass. By sustaining this delicate hydrological balance, the region holds together the ecological fabric of the entire area, its overflowing waters acting like a bloodstream coursing through every plant and creature that calls it home. The most distinctive resident of the Zambezi wetlands is the Zambezi lechwe, scientifically known as Cobus leche, a close relative yet an entirely different animal from the Nile lechwe found in the Sud, both in build and in survival strategy. Weighing between 180 and 270 kilograms and standing up to 1.2 meters tall, it's easily recognized by the pale ring of fur circling its hindquarters. But what truly sets the Zambezi lechwe apart isn't its size. It's an extraordinary, one-of-a-kind instinct, exceptional swimming ability. When a lion or hyena closes in, its reflex isn't to boil across dry land like most antelope species. Instead, it plunges straight into the water and leads the herd towards safety midstream. Once submerged, no land predator can keep pace with it. Tightly bound to clean water and year-round fresh grass, the Zambezi lechwe is, for that very reason, unable to withstand prolonged drought, a fatal weakness that stands in stark contrast to its mastery beneath the water's surface. Few habitats on Earth demand as much resilience as the African savanna. where the shifting moods of climate and weather script a daily battle for survival among millions of creatures. Data from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change shows the savanna's average temperature has climbed by roughly 1.5 degrees over the past 50 years, a shift that has rippled through every corner of the ecosystem. Each day, its inhabitants meet this changing world with quiet, relentless resolve, adapting like seasoned survivors in a landscape that offers no mercy. Drought looms as one of the harshest trials the savanna must endure. Across South Africa's temperate savanna, rainfall has dropped by nearly 20% over 3 decades, straining water resources and thinning the vegetation that grazers like the white rhinoceros, zebra, and wildebeest depend on. In response, these animals have forged remarkable strategies for endurance. The white rhinoceros and certain antelope species can go for days without drinking, drawing what moisture they need from the grass alone, while zebras and wildebeest, ever the wanderers, have learned to shift their migratory timing to match the unpredictable dance of wet and dry seasons. When rare rains finally fall, they move swiftly, seizing the fleeting gift of fresh grass and water before it disappears. This capacity to bend without breaking stands as one of nature's clearest testaments to resilience. Crowned with a shimmering halo of golden feathers, the gray-crowned crane rises above the green prairies and sprawling wetlands like nature's own royalty. Bearing the scientific name Balearica regulorum, it stands as a vivid emblem of the Zambezi ecoregion, an animal thoroughly shaped by the relentless back and forth of wet and dry seasons. Its long, graceful legs and proudly upright neck let it move with ease across the flooded grasslands, while its broad, powerful wings serve as more than a symbol of freedom, carrying it smoothly over the swamps like a glider skimming an untouched sky. When the rains finally break, the Zambezi prairies stir back to life, grass surging upward as insects and small creatures multiply in astonishing numbers. It is in this season of abundance that the gray-crowned crane returns from its migratory wanderings, gathering with others to search for food and breeding grounds, weaving nests hidden deep within the tall grass to shield their eggs from watchful predators. For this species, the flooded grasslands aren't simply a shelter. They are the very pulse of the ecosystem, the place where life renews itself each year. As great flocks of cranes parade across the drenched fields, wings beating in proud, rhythmic waves, they become a living painting, one of the most striking expressions of Africa's wild spirit. For all its breathtaking beauty, the savanna remains a deeply fragile world, one whose ancient balance, held steady for thousands of years, is now being reshaped by human hands. Animal species can adapt to shifting rainfall, temperature, and terrain, but they stand largely defenseless against a far more merciless force: human expansion. Among the gravest threats facing this ecosystem are deforestation and unchecked agricultural growth. A 2023 report from the Worldwide Fund for Nature found that roughly 75% of Africa's savanna has already been altered or degraded by human activity, transforming once lush forests and prairies into barren, abandoned ground. As land is cleared and burned to make way for farms and pasture land, the vegetation that once teemed with life vanishes, often permanently, taking countless natural habitats down with it. In regions like the Miombo woodlands, forest cover is retreating at a rate of 3% each year, a landscape that once sheltered species such as the African savanna elephant and the African wild dog. As their territory contracts, their survival grows increasingly precarious. Forced to migrate in search of space, elephants now find themselves drawn into direct conflict with human settlements expanding into their path. In 2023 alone, more than 400 elephants were killed across Zambia and Zimbabwe, a devastating toll that reflects just how steep the cost has become when humanity and the natural world collide. Without collective action, even the most extraordinary ecosystems on Earth risk fading into nothing more than a distant memory. Today's conservation efforts flicker like rays of hope against a gathering darkness. Yet hope alone cannot save what is being lost. It must be carried forward by real, deliberate action. Supporting conservation initiatives, cutting back on products tied to habitat destruction, reporting poaching, and championing environmental education are all tangible steps capable of reshaping the fate of wildlife. Among the species teetering closest to the edge, we can't forget the African wild dog we met earlier, those brilliant pack-hunting strategists of the savanna, now numbering barely 6,600 individuals across the entire continent. Their fate, like that of the savanna elephant or the white rhinoceros, depends directly on the choices people make right now. Every individual holds the power to keep the savanna's pulse alive, whether by spreading awareness, embracing responsible ecotourism, safeguarding water sources, or helping restore lands that have been degraded. Even something as small as refusing to purchase ivory, rhino horn, or illegal animal skins can mean the difference between life and death for a single creature. Even a simple daily choice, like helping local communities protect their livestock without harming wildlife, becomes a quiet act of preservation. All of it works toward one goal: passing on nature's beauty to future generations who deserve far more than an impoverished world. Let the savanna keep beating with life for as long as time allows, because its future is inseparable from our own. Have you ever wandered deep into this wild landscape and witnessed its extraordinary dance of survival firsthand? If so, we would love to hear your story in the comments below. Each one a seed of green, helping life flourish across the African savanna. so that its beauty endures, undimmed for generations to come. And if these stories moved you, consider liking, subscribing, and turning on notifications so you never miss the next remarkable journey into the wild heart of nature, where countless untold stories are still waiting for someone willing to listen with wonder and respect.